Greetings, dear friends and colleagues. The President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, is very optimistic about the results of his Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba's recent and successful visit to China. Following the recent talks between the Ukrainian and Chinese foreign ministers, the President of Ukraine stated that he received a very strong signal from Beijing and that China will indeed not supply weapons to Russia. However, to be precise, it should be noted that China has previously stated that it does not supply weapons to Russia in the past. It is indeed evident that Dmytro Kuleba once more heard these very same assurances from China's highly respected foreign minister, the esteemed Wang Yi. By the way, the Chinese foreign minister most certainly said exactly the same thing to his Ukrainian counterpart when they spoke on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference. Then the question arises, why does the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is a key figure in the current administration, claim that China is helping Russia with weapons, which has raised concerns among international observers, and upgrading its military-industrial complex? Because China is supplying Russia with components that are necessary for weapons that are currently and actively essential for the ongoing war in the conflict with Ukraine? And American officials constantly remind their Chinese counterparts about the serious and significant consequences of this assistance to the Russian military-industrial complex. The Ukrainian leadership, however, also takes a different position. Volodymyr Zelensky has already engaged in a debate with Antony Blinken, stating that he has received assurances from the President of China, Xi Jinping, that he will not supply weapons to Russia. Why is Kyiv indeed trying to turn a blind eye to the close strategic cooperation between Russia and China? Perhaps because the Ukrainian leadership continues to be in an obvious political illusion, and this illusion is comparable to the one in which official Kyiv found itself after 2019, when the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, newly elected to this position, believed in the possibility of real agreements with the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Now, Volodymyr Zelensky no longer has the confidence it will be possible to agree on something significant with Putin. The hope for agreements with the Chinese President, Xi Jinping, remains strong. The hope that Xi Jinping can exert significant diplomatic pressure on Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, still remains. That is why the visit of Ukraine's foreign minister to China raises new, significantly unfounded hopes in the context of the ongoing situation. Nevertheless, it is indeed important to mention that it is worth noting that Wang Yi met with Dmytro Kuleba not in Beijing, but in Guangzhou. Thus, this visit indeed takes place outside the Chinese capital and immediately excludes the very important possibility of a meeting between the Ukrainian foreign minister and the President of China. This is exclusively a contact and communication between the two heads of foreign affairs departments. The recent visit between China and Russia did not lead to any real or significant agreements that could truly indicate a change in China's strategic course towards Russia. Despite the high-level discussions, and the visit can indeed be regarded as a form of compensation for China's demonstratively non-participation in the peace summit organized by Volodymyr Zelensky in Switzerland. At that time, Chinese diplomats, despite all Ukrainian efforts and even the visit of the first Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Andriy Sybiha, to Beijing, indeed refused to participate in this representative forum in any official capacity, in any form. Beijing insisted strongly that the international conference would only truly make sense if and only if Ukraine officially and formally invited the Russian delegation to actively participate. And this is indeed despite the fact that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov absolutely and undoubtedly excluded Russia's participation in any way, shape or form in the format of the peace summit. And thus, even if Ukraine had indeed invited Russia to participate in this conference, it would have actually been refused. By the way, Volodymyr Zelensky is now talking about the possible participation of Russian representatives in the next peace summit. But this is exactly the same political fiction. Moscow assures that they will not participate. So China's refusal was more of an excuse rather than a reason. Indeed, when it comes to the absence of Russian representatives, in reality, actually, China has solidified its strategic and economic partnership with the Russian Federation. And the issue here is not about Ukraine, but primarily that Beijing is counting on mutual understanding with Russia in its competition and confrontation with the United States. And because Russia would like to expand its sphere of influence in the post-Soviet space and possibly even annex territories of another state, they do not consider it necessary to worsen relations with the neighboring country. China, however, constantly states that it is committed to the idea of Ukraine's territorial integrity. However, in the official statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China regarding Dmytro Kuleba's stay in the PRC, you will not even see this assertion. Additionally, Beijing has never clearly explained, indeed. How do they view the territorial integrity of Ukraine? While other politicians who cooperate with Moscow, such as Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, remind that they consider Crimea, occupied by Russia, to be Ukrainian, China does not see the need to delve into details. Thus, it can indeed be said that for China, the complete and total territorial integrity of Ukraine is the territory that Ukraine will completely agree upon with Russia at the end of the Russo-Ukrainian War. In the end, indeed. It can thus be clearly stated that for China, international law has priority, and Russia's decision to undermine this international law through the use of brute military force, which is a clear violation of international norms. Nevertheless, it is clear that Dmytro Kuleba could not refuse the invitation, which demonstrates China's conditional neutrality in the Russia-Ukraine war. Could not, because Ukraine needs to demonstrate its genuine readiness to actively seek lasting and peaceful solutions to the ongoing conflict that was initially started by Russia approximately 10 years ago. And because in Kyiv, they continue to count on real mediation by China in resolving the main issues related to the war between Russia and Ukraine, which has caused significant international concern and has been ongoing for several years. Personally, in my opinion, I have no hope at all for Chinese mediation regarding the situation. But the fact that Beijing took advantage of the visit of the foreign minister to demonstrate its equidistance from the participants in the conflict, yes, that is indeed the very main outcome of the visit of Ukraine's foreign minister to China. Thank you, friends. Stay tuned to this channel. Participate in its dissemination. Good luck.